played at Craven Cottage, and they are already 2-0 down. Sliced apart by Fulham there. Fulham 2, Leicester 0.
Well, this is just a horrendous start from Leicester. From the word go, you can see what the plan was. OK, we'll sit back and we'll try and counter. But not at any point when they're without the ball. You can still be aggressive when you haven't got the ball. But no, it's just so passive defending. And in the end, Harry Wilson has the ball. Soonchu, I think, has the choice. Does he try and play Vinicius offside, or does he try and drop in? And by not playing offside, which to be fair would have been a bit of a gamble, but he still gets that half a yard, Vinicius. He's through on goal, takes the first touch. He goes one way, the keeper goes the other with the shot. And I'll tell you what, you know, this game here so far is absolutely there for the taking for Fulham. We talked about the attitude of Fulham, but the attitude of Leicester so far has been horrendous. Defending poor, created one chance, but they look like they could be absolutely opened up. And on this form, and it's only the first 17-18 minutes, this is relegation form.
Well, it doesn't make any difference to Leicester's position in the table as things stand at the moment. The goal difference goes down a couple to -15, but they're so much further ahead of the others, as I said. But the problem for them is, of course, they're sitting on 30 points. Leeds are on 30 points. Nottingham Forest on 30, Everton on 29. Those other teams will get a chance to try and get some points later on today. So Fulham 2, Leicester 0, 18 minutes gone in the first half. Castagna looking for a free kick here, doesn't get it. Palhinha plays back to Anthony Robinson. Robinson to Reed. Reed all the way back to Diop. And Diop just strokes it to Palhinha. Flick through his legs to Kearney. Lays it back to Williams. Kearney's gone down and he's won a free kick. Let's take you around the championship grounds again. Find out what's going on in the race for those last two playoff places. Middlesbrough Coventry first. Chris Coles.
Middlesbrough 0, Coventry 0. Bright start, but the game has turned into the game we thought might develop. Middlesbrough with nothing to play for, keeping easy, non-threatening possession at the back against a Coventry side who only need a point, sitting deep and allowing Borough to keep the ball. A draw works for Coventry, and it's very much a draw thus far. Middlesbrough 0, Coventry 0.
Coventry sitting in 6th in the as it stands table. That's because Millwall up in 5th. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Millwall 1, Blackburn 0. It's all the lines at the moment. Watmore's volley separates the sides. Tom Bradshaw thought he had grabbed a goal to make it 2, but
Jamie Vardy in for
equalised.
Leicester here. Vardy! Oh, good hit with the left foot. And Leno throws himself to his right, palms it behind, and that will be a corner for Leicester. That was a chance.
It really was, and it's a wonderful save. And do you know what? He does everything right. But what is Anthony Robinson doing there? Trying to play a square pass, goes straight to Jamie Vardy. He comes inside on his left foot. It's a good strike. It's a really good save, though.
Vardy looking to make it 3-3 after the Leicester corner. Will take it to Preston Sunderland. Millwall leading Blackburn by a goal to 0, as Aaron was explaining. So Millwall will be back there in a second because there has been another goal. Let's just very quickly see what Leicester can do with the corner. Maddison is going to take it short. Here's Tielemans. Tielemans with his left foot finds Maddison. Maddison into the Fulham penalty area, down to the byline. Can he get the cross in? That's blocked, and Fulham will clear. Back to Aaron.
Completely against the run of play, Ali, just as your goal was going in. Adam Morton has equalised for Blackburn Rovers. Silence around the den from the Millwall fans. It's Millwall 1, Blackburn 1. As things stand, Millwall dropping to 6th.
Playoff picture is changing all the time. Goal at Middlesbrough, Chris Coles.
Coventry take a giant step towards the playoffs. They lead in a game they only have to draw. Gustavo Hamer, one of the Sky Blues' most consistent performers, firing in from just inside the penalty area. Middlesbrough 0, Coventry 1, the Sky Blues playoff bound.
Fulham 2, Leicester 0 in the Premier League here at Craven Cottage. Full commentary on this one alongside Scott Minto. James Maddison down by the byline. Thought he'd won a free kick for Leicester. Fulham have cleared it. It's gone out for a throw on the left. We were going to take you to Preston Sunderland. I presume we're heading there next. Maz Faruqi.
0-0 here. Gelhardt went down though. Sunderland want a penalty. They've worked their way back into this game a lot more in the last couple of minutes, but the best chances have been for Preston in a match Sunderland have to win. Preston 0, Sunderland 0.
Swansea, West Brom, Sheridan Robbins.
Swansea 0, West Brom 1, but that news of that goal at Millwall has filtered through and the fans are in fine voice trying to push their team on as it stands. West Brom in 6. They've got the goal. They haven't had too many chances since, but it's Swansea City 0, West Brom 1.
Yes, quite right. West Brom sitting in the playoff spots as it stands. 1-0 up away to Swansea. They're on 69 points, ahead of Millwall, I think, on goals scored there. Millwall also on 69 points, and the goal difference for both of them is +8. And and then you've got Sunderland in 8th on 67, Blackburn also on 67 points. Far less pressure at Turf Moor. Betty Glover.
Yeah, 0-0 here. Cardiff close to spoiling the party. Rinomota with a fantastic ball over the top for Romea inside the area, who played it to Colwell. He mistimed his shot and eventually it fell to Wickham, who should have put the ball in the back of the net, but he was offside. Other than that, it's been mostly Burnley. Barnes with plenty of chances, but he just can't seem to get the ball into the back of the net. It's goalless here.
Fulham 2, Leicester 0. We're midway through the first half here, and we're going to try and see if well, they've had the chance through Vardy that was saved by Leno. There was a couple of minutes of Leicester pressure at that point, but we're looking to see, Scott Minter, if they can find a way back into this game.
Yeah, and at the moment it's Fulham who are just sitting back and being well organised, and Leicester just passing it round the back, but not really being incisive at all. So, and then they knock a long ball. Jamie Vardy makes something of it. He's going to be massive today. If they are to get a point out of this game, he is going to be absolutely crucial. I don't think they can get all three now. Let's absolutely snatch your hand off for a draw. But how are they going to do it? As you say, Jamie Vardy, that came from a Robinson mistake, and then James Maddison actually did really well. So they've had a couple of chances. They have to be clinical when they're in front of goal.
Just remind me, in terms of your little working it all out and the scribblings and what was going to happen, what did you have down for this one?
I didn't have 2-0 down after 17 minutes, I've got to be honest. I'm just looking.
No, well, nor did I.
I had a draw.
Did you?
Okay. I did think Fulham would be quite relaxed and Leicester would really be up for this.
Yeah.
Fulham are relaxed. Leicester are not up for it at all.
No. That's Scott Minto with us here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Poor challenge that from Harvey Barnes. Harry Wilson was away from him inside the Leicester half, just stuck a leg out, took him down, yellow card.
You know, but it also tells you of what the season has told us all along. Don't try and predict, because you've got no idea the way it's going. You know, it's been an amazing season, it really has, and there will still be some twists and turns. But, you know, Leicester need to try and get, even if it's just 1 point out of this game. 1 point could be the difference.
Remarkable to think, recent FA Cup winners, Premier League champions in 2016, in real danger of relegation from the Premier League this season. Another goal at Swansea, Sheridan Robbins.
Swansea 1, West Brom 1, and it's a Wolves loanee, Luke Cundle, that might have broken West Brom's hearts. Good build-up play, and he shot home from just inside the box, and it silenced the West Brom fans. Swansea 1, West Brom 1.
So that table's changing all the time. Coventry in 5th, Millwall in 6th, as it was at the start of the day. Sunderland now in 7th on 67 points. But 2 points behind Millwall and 6. We'll keep you posted as we go. Ball over the top from Joao Pellini, and Daniel Everson to the edge of the box. Had to backpedal very quickly, but judged it beautifully and just picked the ball up just inside his penalty area. Sumare now has it for Leicester on the left. He's looking to get Harvey Barnes away. Barnes has speed. Has he kept that in? Apparently so. It's over on the far side of the field to us, and he's one-on-one with Tete. Gets it back to Sumare, edge of the area. Little trick from Sumare. He's overrun it. Tete now clears. Here's Vinicius, scorer of the second goal for Fulham. Christensen is there, makes the tackle, and it goes out for a Fulham throw.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their Leicester players. You know, Harvey Barnes hasn't really got involved. Dennis Pratt definitely hasn't got involved. Even James Maddison, one bit of magic. You know, they've got to try and find a way to break this Fulham side down, because look, Fulham may have just eased off a little bit, although they, as I say, they have played some top teams, but they've been brilliant, you know, when you think about what they've done and what the expectation were at the start of the season.
Maddison with the ball at his feet, trying to slide one through to Castagna. Vardy's onto it, edge of the box, scuffs the shot, and Leno dives to his right and falls on it.
Better though, it's better from Leicester. They're finding little pockets of space and turning, and in the end Jamie Vardy took the touch. He scuffed it a little bit, but he'll be thinking, yeah, come on, I'm getting more and more into the game. I'd love another chance like that.
Ball back from Kearney to Leno is not the friendliest, but brilliant control from the goalkeeper with his right foot, and now Fulham will start to play out through the lines. Kearney tried to take that on, and Castagna has won it. Down it goes to Pratt. Pratt holds off Willian. Low pass into the edge of the box. Maddison with the ball at his feet. Little drag with the right foot. Then a twist and a turn. And then Paulinho barges into him, and Leicester win a free kick just outside the Fulham penalty area.
Wow, he has bought that. I mean, Paulinho has been a magnificent player this season, but you could just see the way he was twisting and turning Maddison. He's waiting for that nudge to go down, and this is a really dangerous opportunity.
You're a big fan of Paulinho, aren't you, Scott?
I do. I watched him for Sporting in the last couple of seasons. I work on the Portuguese football, and excellent. Him and Mateus Nunes in the centre of that Sporting midfield, both of them now obviously playing in the Premier League. But he has been superb, arguably even better than Mitrovic, or certainly as good as in that Fulham midfield.
27 minutes played almost. First half at Craven Cottage under leaden skies. Fulham comfortably ahead against Leicester. Leicester in real trouble in this relegation battle. Maddison's won the free kick. Bernd Leno's lined his four-man wall up. Maddison's wondering whether he can curl it round the left shoulder of Anthony Robinson into the top corner. Whistle blows. Maddison's strike goes low into the shins of the wall and behind for a corner.
Just a waste, wasn't it? He knows. Someone like him with his class and quality, he'll be thinking that's a missed opportunity. He won the free kick himself, could see what he was trying to do, but I think even if it had gone round the wall, it would have been a pretty simple save.
Coventry won up at Middlesbrough in the Championship. That will easily be enough for them to get them into the playoffs. Millwall 1, Blackburn 1. That is enough for Millwall at the moment. They are 5th and 6th, those two, in the Championship table at the moment. Maddison's deep corner. Tielemans controls, hits the ball on the half volley. That took a big deflection and goes away for another corner to Leicester, who are trailing Fulham by 2-0. Leicester's 3 remaining games after this: Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, West Ham at home. A West Ham team who may well have made themselves safe with their win last night, and also could well be involved in Europa Conference League final action around about that time, or getting ready for it. Here's Christensen with the corner for Leicester. It's an away swinger. Header from Castagna takes another deflection, and that'll be another corner to Leicester. Quickly to Turf Moor. Betty Glover.
It's Burnley 1, Cardiff 0. Turf Moor has erupted. It's been coming. Burnley have been waiting for the breakthrough, and it's Josh Brownhill who gets it. It fell to him on the edge of the area, and he just tapped it home. It's Burnley 1, Cardiff 0.
Burnley going up as champions. If they win, 101 points for them. Christensen's deep corner fasses up and heads it straight up in the air, and that's an easy catch for Bernd. Leno sprints out to the edge of his penalty area, and if the spaces are there and opportunities are there, Fulham are going to go for it and score more.
No, absolutely, and you just mentioned the fixtures they got coming. Well, Liverpool are chasing top 4. Obviously, Newcastle are as well. I don't see them getting any points out of either of those 2 games. Then it goes down to the West Ham game, where I do think they will be on, I hope so, in the Europa Conference final, and I'm sure they won't be quite at it there. So, you know, apart from that game, this is the one opportunity where I think they can get points out, but they're 2-0 down after 17 minutes.
Such a sluggish start by Leicester. 2-0 down, and it's Fulham who come again. Toss in, lovely low raking pass down the right. Wilson onto it, tries to knock one in field with the outside of his left boot. It was blocked, but it came back to Wilson. He's got it wide to Harrison Reed. Reed doesn't see a teammate available, so has to come skipping back down that right-hand touchline. Feeds Tossin all the way back to Leno, and Leno sweeps it across the field, and Fulham will start again from inside their own half. And Issa Diop comes rumbling forward with the ball at his feet to Kearney. Quick passing between Kearney and Willian. Back to Diop. Diop just forced back into his own half again. Kearney makes himself available on the left. Dummies a longer pass with his left foot. Short one to Robinson. Robinson's deciding to take Castagna on for a bit of pace. Castagna gets a foot on the ball, and it goes out for a Fulham throw. Fulham 2, Leicester 0. Robinson bounces the throw down into the turf. Willian controls. Tielemans in front of him. Willian just teasing him. Plays to Kearney, then makes the run on the outside. He's into the box. Here's the cut back. There's the shot from Reed. Good save with Everson with his legs. Tete shoots straight at Everson, who makes another save.
Well, Everson has just kept his team in this game 3-0, and there's no way they're coming back here. Really good football down the left-hand side with Willian and Tom Kearney. Going past 3 Leicester players just with that one pass. Harrison Reed keeps it on target. That's all you can try and do. It actually kind of went straight at Everson. He still has to make the save. My goodness me, this is shocking defending from Leicester.
Made some big saves as well in the 2-2 against Everton on Monday night. Soumare charging forward through the heart of the Fulham midfield. Lays it off to Maddison. Maddison just floats past Polinia. Then lays the pass off to Christensen. Bristol City 1-0 up at QPR on the final day of this championship season. Here's Harvey Barnes. Barnes bringing it in from the left. Polinia does brilliantly for Fulham. Tackles Barnes, wins the ball, and then tries a little too hard to bring it away and fouls Barnes as Barnes came back at him, and Leicester have the free kick.
Yeah, you know, Leicester have been better, I have to say, going forward in the last sort of 5-10 minutes, but defensively they look open. You know, just a little bit of movement and a 1-2, and suddenly Fulham are in, and it's there for the taking, really. It's how, at the moment, it's how many Fulham want to score. Leicester need to try and get a goal before half-time, just to kind of psychologically feel that they're back in the game, and if they do get that 2-1, then, you know, Fulham might get a little nervous.
Set piece opportunity. Maddison's curling free kick, looking for Fass, headed away by Tossin. Soyuncu nods it down to Soumare. Nice first touch. Tielemans shot straight at Leno, and Leno's in the right place there and just falls gratefully on the ball in his 6-yard box.
Yeah, again, it was straight at Leno, but Leno looks really, you see a goalkeeper who looks like he's full of confidence. He's already made a couple of really good saves, one from Jamie Vardy, positioning right, was never going to fumble that. I was at West Ham last night and I saw David De Gea, let's just say two ends of the spectrum there.
Yeah, that was a really poor one from De Gea last night. Kearney with a back heel. Here's Dennis Pratt on the right for Leicester, wide to Maddison. Maddison saw Robinson coming, drags it back onto his left foot and plays it to Castagna. Fulham 2, Leicester 0. There's been another goal at Turf Moor. Betty Glover.
Burnley 2, Cardiff 0, and it's Ashley Barnes. It's written in the stars. Cardiff failed to clear, and he was just waiting in the area to slam it into the back of the net. The perfect end to his last game in a Burnley shirt after nearly a decade at the club. He had tears in his eyes as he turned to celebrate. Burnley 2, Cardiff 0.
So Ashley Barnes scoring for Burnley. Leicester need Harvey Barnes to get on the score sheet here. Jamie Vardy just coming back from an offside position as Leicester were looking to build an attack. Fulham get the free kick.
It was actually a really good pass from Wout Faes, and it kind of beat not just Fulham's midfield, but it looked like sort of it would have been a one-on-one for Jamie Vardy, but that's what he does when he plays on the edge. Quite often he does play offside, but it just takes one moment for him to be onside, turn, go on goal, like we saw against Everton as well, and we know how clinical he can be.
Just looking at that Leicester centre-back pairing, so Chalar Soyuncu very much back in favour under Dean Smith. In terms of better hair as a pairing in the Premier League, I'm not sure you can beat that, can you? Soyuncu wears it tied back. Faes has it flying around all over the place. But it's good.
Which one would you go for, the perm or just the full one back?
I think I'd go Soyuncu. Here's Harrison Reed. They've got defending to do now, Leicester. Reed's cut back here might reach Vinicius. Faes sticks a right foot on the ball. Now Barnes has a chance to get away for Leicester down the left-hand side, outside of his right foot to Vardy. Maddison moving into space on the right, not enough on the pass from Vardy. Maddison slips. The pass wouldn't have got to him anyway, and Fulham can play out.
It wouldn't have done it, but Maddison, get up. Okay, yeah, it was a bad pass. Don't sort of sit there and throw your arms in the air. I think body language is so important when you're in these positions. You're in trouble, around the relegation zone, you're 2-0 down, still just try and be as positive as possible, even if bad things happen.
Fulham 2, Leicester 0. 11 minutes remaining in the first half here at Craven Cottage, and still Coventry in 5th and Millwall in 6th in the battle for those two final playoff spots in the Championship. Coventry are 1 up away to Middlesbrough. Millwall 1, Blackburn 1. Preston and Sunderland is still goalless. West Brom against Swansea is 1-1, if memory serves. It is, yeah, exactly right. And Blackburn, of course, in the 1-1 against Millwall. Those are all the teams involved in that. Burnley 2-0 up against Cardiff. Good skills from Pratt on the right for Leicester. Robinson comes chasing back. He now slips in a similar area of the field to where Maddison went down. Cross in from Castagna's very, very deep, overhit. No one can keep that in for Leicester, and they're just not on it today.
No,
Leicester.
They're not. I mean, I have to say, really good play from Dennis Pratt, who hasn't really been involved too much, but a few little good touches, went past the player there, put the ball out wide, and that's where you need that quality cross in the final third to come in, but it certainly wasn't.
Goal at Millwall, Aaron Paul.
Millwall 2, Blackburn Rovers 1. It's a second of the afternoon from Duncan Watmore. Millwall broke down the right-hand side with Tom Bradshaw. He sent the ball into the area. There's confusion between Ainsley Pearce and Harry Pickering, his defender. Pickering headed the ball beyond his goalkeeper, and there was Duncan Watmore just around him and slammed the ball into the back of the net. Millwall needing a win to confirm their status in the playoffs. They're winning at the moment. It's Millwall 2, Blackburn 1.
Maddison on the turn for Leicester. 10 yards outside the Fulham penalty area in a central position. Plays it wide to Harvey Barnes. Barnes brings it infield from the left with his right foot, curls across in. It hits Anthony Robinson. No one there for Leicester to put the pressure on. It just falls into the hands of Bernd Leno.
That's not a bad ball, that at all. And again, you've got to read the situation on the far post. If the ball's on the left, the person on the right, and it was actually Castagna, because Dennis Pratt had come in. Just try and gamble. You never know. You're 2-0 down. Go for it.
As it stands, still nothing those teams below 5th and 6th can do about Coventry and Millwall taking those playoff spots, because Coventry are winning 1-0 away to Middlesbrough, and as we heard Aaron just say, Millwall 2-1 up on Blackburn into the last 10 minutes of the first half here. I don't want to get our golf correspondent into trouble. Ian Carter is a big Leicester fan. I just picked him up on the monitors. I'm sure his family knows he's here on a bank holiday Monday watching the football. He looks nervous, and I know he won't be happy with the way Leicester are playing so far today. Fulham 2, Leicester 0. He may well feature on the next match of the day, depending on what shots they decide to use when the time comes. Here come Fulham again though. Reed looking for the run of Tete down the right.
I bet he wish he was working today.
Exactly, or playing golf possibly. Here's Reed for Fulham, back to Palinia. Nice from Palinia, slicing a pass infield to Wilson, quickly wide left to Willian up to the edge of the Leicester penalty area, working it onto the right foot, stabs it here to Kearney. Kearney sees space on the left for Robinson, one touch, then the cross comes in right across the face of goal. Wilson nearly got a touch. Reed is there wide on the right. Tete now crosses in. Vinicius with the header, spins just wide. Everson scampering across his goal line, thinking that might just creep into the far corner. It's behind for a goal kick. Scott Minto.
Well, that's a couple of times Fulham nearly got in there. They went wide. Anthony Robinson with a wonderful ball. Just wonder whether Carlos Vinicius could have got on the end of that, but he got on the end of the header when the cross came in, and Everson was scrambling, wasn't he? He wasn't 100% sure that was going in or wide.
Castagna, long ball over the top. Vardy will chase. Leno's there comfortably for Fulham. Ball bounces into his hands. All the goals seem to be going in at Millwall at the moment. Aaron Paul.
They have a third. It's come courtesy of Ollie Burke. He was flying down the right-hand side and just aimed for the far corner. And you know what? He potted it. He didn't shoot. He potted it into the far corner. Fabulous finish from the on-loan Millwall winger. They are doing their bit, Millwall. Millwall 3, Blackburn Rovers 1. The den is alive, Ali.
Anthony Robinson playing it forward for Fulham here. They're leading Leicester by 2-0. Kearney to Willian on the left. 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Ball at the feet of Palinia to Wilson. Wilson plays back to Tosin across to Diop, and Leicester have got to go chasing at the moment. Wide to the American Anthony Robinson. Robinson draws Pratt towards him, then comes all the way back to his goalkeeper Leno.
Yeah, the thing is, obviously Leicester don't want to come out too quickly, but at some point they're going to have to, and that will open it up even more for a counter for Fulham. You know, they've already looked dangerous when they pass the ball around and get wide and whip the balls in, but they've also looked dangerous on the counter. You know, defensively, just really surprised at how bad Leicester have been today.
Leno has the ball at his feet on the edge of the Fulham box, plays to Diop, forward to Willian. Didn't quite get the touch he wanted, but Vinicius was able to get it, and now Willian's away down the left, and he's streaking away from Castagna, then cuts back onto the right foot and then whips it right across the penalty area. It's behind Harry Wilson, and it goes behind for a goal kick. I thought he might try and whip one to the top corner.
He kind of passed it as if it was a shot. You know, he really did zip it in, or try to Harry Wilson, and he might as well. You know, you're just on the edge of the box on the left-hand side, you're cutting in on your right foot. Why not have a dig?
Ball is with Castagna for Leicester. All in blue, playing from left to right in this first half. Closing stages of it here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and we've got full commentary on Brighton Everton, which kicks off at 5:30 this evening, and then Mark Chapman will pick things up with the Monday Night Club after that. Updates of Nottingham Forest against Southampton. Maddison, central position just outside the Fulham area, goes wide left to Barnes. Barnes dances into the box, then crosses with his left foot but slices it, and it took a deflection actually. Referee has pointed to the corner flag, so that will be a corner for Leicester.
Better though from Harvey Barnes. At least he's got into a position where it's a one-on-one. He's gone down the outside. I mean, Tete's had it covered the whole time, so really good defending from him. And yeah, a corner.
So Christensen, the Dane, goes across to take, lifts his right arm in the air, then curls the ball with his left foot away from goal. Good header away from Tosin. Tielemans hits the shot into the ground. It's blocked. Everson is almost up by the halfway line here and takes control of it for Leicester from that clearance. He's all in black. Has plenty of time here to look up and find an area to loft the ball into. Robinson wins the header against Castagna. Oh, Maddison's overhit that. He's gone over the head of Dennis Pratt. Pratt chases it back into his own half and plays back to his goalkeeper Everson. So Leicester will start to build again. In terms of the football coming your way this week, European action for the next 3 nights. Real Madrid against Manchester City. John Murray and Chris Waddle with that one. Tomorrow night we've got the Milan derby. Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin over in Milan for the first leg of that Champions League semi-final on Wednesday night. And we'll bring you West Ham against Alkmaar in full on Thursday on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Here's Wilson. Wilson to Kearney. Kearney back to Palinia. It's quiet inside Craven Cottage, but I think that's because it's so comfortable for Fulham.
It's so comfortable. You know, 2 early goals and they're passing the ball around. Leicester look open at the back. They don't look particularly penetrative going forward. It's just been a really bad performance on the away side. So yeah, you know, it's almost like going to the theatre and sitting and watching and enjoying.
Diop overran one there and played Fulham into trouble, and then Leicester haven't been able to do anything with it. And the body language from James Maddison there, just a sort of slump of the shoulders, just tells you everything you need to know about this Leicester performance so far this afternoon. Leno with the one save from Vardy's left-footed strike. Leno plays out to Tosin. Tosin down the inside right channel, inside his own half to Vinicius, doing a good job at centre forward today, just coming and collecting and laying it off. That looked like a poor challenge on Harrison Reed. So Fulham will get the free kick. Was it Samare who caught Reed there? Referee Robert Jones certainly spotted it. It wasn't hard to spot. We'll have another look at the monitor here. Wilson was caught by Christensen. Samare might have actually got the ball there. Maybe it was the first one that was the free kick, but goodness me, Dean Smith's got a job on his hands at half time.
Well, he has. You know, he's got to have a word of the lads and say, look, you know, all I can do is try and do something on the training pitch, but you've actually got to implement it, and you've got to get tight. As I say, it's one thing not able to break down a side, especially if you're feeling under pressure, you've been around the relegation zone. It's another thing to not even be organised or aggressive in the tackle, and they haven't got anywhere near Fulham at times.
Fulham playing it around at the back again. Scott Minto with us here at Craven Cottage. Here's Diop. Diop's got plenty of time, not closed down. Kearney takes it on the turn on the edge of the box. He's got Tielemans and Vardy with him there, but very happy just to take his time and play
even
it back to Leno.
Sorry, just press, just you know, gamble. Tom Kearney's on the ball. There's two players where he's on the edge of the box. Go for it. And now they're playing out.
Yeah, look at them here. Fulham now attacking down the left. This is dangerous for Leicester again. Willian running across the face of the box. This time did go for the top corner. Shots deflected. Came off his own man, Harrison Reed, who might have just taken a whack in the head there from the ball. He stayed down. It'll be a goal kick to Leicester when we get back underway.
Well, clearly you got a hotline to him because he did try and shoot the far post that time. But again, it's just too simple. You've got two Leicester players who are trying to close down on the edge of Fulham's box. Tom Kearney on the ball. Just 3, 4, 5 players go for it. If you win the ball back there, you're against Bernd Leno, one-on-one situation. In the end, they didn't do anything. The ball came out. It's simple 3-4 passes, and they've almost got a shot on goal.
Williams scored the first. That was early. That was the free kick from wide on the left. No one got a touch. Leicester felt there was a foul on Wout Fast, but it was looked at by VAR and the goal stood. Carlos Vinicius with the second. Fulham playing straight through the Leicester defence. Now that is winning the ball high up the field. Now here's Reed, has found Vinicius. Kearney onto the right foot. What a goal! What a fabulous goal from Fulham. Tom Kearney sweetly curls it into the bottom corner. But Fulham did there what Leicester should have been doing moments ago. They sensed an opportunity to win the ball high up the pitch. They did that. They cut through Leicester again. Leicester in all sorts of trouble now this season. 3 games to come after this one. I think this one's gone. Fulham 3, Leicester 0.
I don't see how they're going to come back. And Ali, what we've seen in the first half, they've got 0 chance of coming back. Again, that's exactly what we were saying. Fulham pressed Leicester, and this time it was Paulinho who got in front of Dennis Pratt. The ball finds itself to Tom Kearney, who on his left foot shapes the shoot, comes inside on his right. He's got a wand of a left foot, but his right foot isn't too bad either, and he sticks it into the far corner, giving Iversen no chance whatsoever. But again, you're talking about a mentality of a team that looks cohesive, that knows what they want to do. Went down one end just a couple of minutes earlier, an opportunity to try and win the ball back and press high. They didn't do that. Fulham go down the other end. Fulham did exactly what Leicester should have done, and that's a really good finish.
3-0, Scott, doesn't flatter Fulham, does it? This is a good team against a poor team today.
This is a good team who hasn't even had to get into 4th gear. They're in 3rd gear at the moment against a very, very poor team. You know, we keep on asking ourselves, should Leicester be down there? Should Leicester be down there? And the players on paper, no, you shouldn't be down there. Well, you know, it's played on grass, not on paper. And at this point at the moment, what we've seen in the first half, I've got to be careful choosing my words, but just on this first half performance, Leicester are going down.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that on what we've seen in the first 45 minutes here. We've almost reached half-time on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We'll be taking you around all those championship grounds with our reporters on duty today. Final day of the championship season with Steve Crossman shortly. Leicester trying to get back into it late on in the first half, and then Maddison's pass is so easily intercepted, and Paulinho brings it away, and Christensen knocks him over, and it would have been a free kick to Fulham, but that is that at the end of the first half at Craven Cottage. And you can hear the boos, from the travelling supporters, and it's a standing ovation from the Fulham fans. Fulham lead Leicester by 3-0. They've torn Leicester apart.
It's been a masterclass. It's almost been a practice match for them. You know, it's almost if they're playing, I won't even say against the reserves, because quite often when you have first team against reserves, the reserves sometimes win. But we're looking at pictures of Dean Smith and John Terry, and John Terry must be thinking, I didn't practice that this week. What has happened there? This has been absolute cruise control from Fulham. It's been shocking from Leicester.
Yeah, John Terry and Dean Smith deep in conversation, and the expression on their faces is a mixture of sort of dejection, anger and just confusion. How can Leicester turn up and play like this today? Well, they have done, and at half-time, Steve, Fulham 3, Leicester 0.
Yeah, ordinarily our golf correspondent Ian Carter would be over the moon with 3 under, but not this afternoon.
Hey.
Fulham, thanks very much. I've had 20 minutes to think of that. Thank you very much, guys. We'll be back for second half commentary. Fulham 3, Leicester 0. I can see some Leicester City fans reacting furiously there to the first half performance from their players. And why not? It's also a massive day, as you know, in the Championship, in the playoff race. Millwall started the day knowing if they beat Blackburn, they'd be in the top 6. And they're on course. Aaron Paul.
Millwall 3, Blackburn 1. Possibly the best first half of Millwall's season so far, Steve. From the outset, Gary Rowett's side have been pedal to metal as 8 minutes in, Duncan Watmore smashed the volley in off the crossbar to break the deadlock. Tom Bradshaw thought he doubled their advantage minutes later with the tap-in that was ruled out late on for offside. At the other end, and a rare Blackburn foray forward brought a goal. Adam Wharton sending the away fans into raptures with a low effort. Back came Millwall though. Duncan Watmore again taking advantage of slack defending to round Pears and Pickering and slot home. Then Ollie Burt minutes later charging down the right in open space. He made it through with a drilled effort into the bottom corner. It's so far so good for Gary Rabbit's side. As things stand, this will keep them in the playoffs. At the break, Millwall lead Blackburn Rovers by 3-1.
Duncan Watmore's been an inspired signing for Millwall from Middlesbrough, but his replacement at the Riverside isn't bad, and he might have a big impact on the race for the top 6. Chris Coles.
Absolutely, Steve. Cameron Archer has scored right on the stroke of half-time for Middlesbrough, just to offer hope to the chasing playoff pack. Middlesbrough 1, Coventry 1. Up to that point, it had been all Coventry. They were doing more than enough. Gustavo Hamer's 9th of the season, powerful finish from just inside the penalty area, and the half really was between a side with little to play for against a side with everything to play for. Middlesbrough just not playing with Coventry's intensity. They were lacking attacking ideas until that Archer goal. They were yet to register a shot on target, but that just changes the complexion of the second half for Coventry and for the teams just below them as well. They're doing enough, Coventry. They just need a point, and that's what they're getting. Middlesbrough 1, Coventry 1.
That's right, they're still in the top 6, but it has just opened the door a little bit. Meanwhile, West Brom showing signs of bursting through it. Sheridan.
Swansea City 1, West Brom 1. They got off to a good start. West Brom, Yokuslu capitalised on a defensive error to give them the lead, but 13 minutes later it had to be, didn't it? Wolves' lonely Luke Cundall latched onto a lovely ball inside the box for his 3rd goal of the season. It's been a good game, but at the moment it's not enough for West Brom. They are currently in 8th where they started the day. Swansea City 1, West Brom 1.
So at the moment, Sunderland need a favour from Middlesbrough, and they've got to do themselves one as well. Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, it's goalless here, Steve, at Preston, but the Sunderland fans filtering out at half-time, just hearing word of that Borough equaliser. They know that game and the game at Millwall, they need those results to go their way, and they perhaps here should actually be behind. Liam Delat with a shot just wide of the far post after a burst of pace on the counter from Preston as Sunderland press forward for a goal. Gelhardt, the Leeds loanee, then forcing a very good save from Woodman in the Preston goal at the other end. He was also forced into a pretty acrobatic block from a Roberts chance, which could have just sneaked inside the far top corner. But they need to win, Sunderland, and they need those 2 other results to go their way, which they are not at the moment. Preston 0, Sunderland 0.
Sunderland fans celebrating a Middlesbrough goal is the most last day of a Championship season thing that you could possibly see. All of these complications, Burnley don't have to worry about it. It's the day they get the trophy, and it's half-time at Turf Moor. Betty Glover.
Yeah, it's 2-0 to Burnley. It's the perfect script so far for the champions, Steve. Josh Brownhill opened the scoring. A bit of a weird one. Cardiff players actually thought the ball had gone out of play, but it landed to Brownhill, who couldn't miss, before Ashley Barnes made it 2-0 in his last game for the club. He's got his farewell goal in the bag. He'll be relieved. Cardiff being pretty wasteful, while Vincent Kompany walked down the tunnel with a massive smile on his face. Burnley leading 2-0 at the break.
Thanks, Betty. So as it stands, it would be Luton versus Coventry and Middlesbrough versus Millwall in the playoffs, but there are 45 minutes of drama still to play. Other scores at half-time: Birmingham 0, Sheffield United 0, Huddersfield 0, Reading 0, Luton 0, Hull City 0. It's QPR 0, Bristol City 1, Watford 0, Stoke 0, and Wigan 0, Rotherham United 0. Mark Clement is with us all afternoon. Should we start with Duncan Watmore? He's got an incredible personal story, and he might well be taking Millwall into the playoffs.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, you know why Middlesbrough would need to balance the books a bit, because they brought some brilliant loanees in, but my goodness me, Millwall will be lapping up his expertise today with those two couple of goals. It's a fascinating afternoon. By my reckoning, the playoff mix, that's who plays who, has changed 3 times already today. I can't help but feel, looking at that lineup, Steve, how old school it is, because there's a huge talk about the disparity of parachute payments for the teams that come down. But looking at this, Luton, last of 10 years in the top flight, 1992. Middlesbrough, 1 season in the last 14 in the Premier League. That was 7 years ago. Coventry, the last of 34 years in the top flight, or the Premier League towards the back end. That was in 2000, 2001, so 22 years ago. And Millwall, last of 2 top flight seasons, was in 1989-90. So, I mean, it's a proper aficionados, you know, the old school way we used to watch football with some of those names in the mix, whilst at the moment the West Broms, certainly Norwiches and Watfords, are outside of those playoff places, despite those riches we get told distort the whole division. Fascinating.
Yeah, great point. It is fascinating. The teams in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, not one of them benefits from parachute payments, but that is the playoff picture as it stands. League 2, the game's finished earlier this afternoon. Northampton Town, congratulations Northampton, promoted to League 1 with a 1-0 victory at Tranmere Rovers. We are going to hear from their manager, John Brady, between now and the second half kicking off at Craven Cottage. So Northampton up. Stockport, meanwhile, have to settle for a place in the playoffs. They drew 1-1 with Hartlepool. They had to win that game and hope for a favour, but it didn't come. So Stockport 4th. Carlisle United finished 5th after a 1-1 draw at Sutton. They will play Bradford City, who finished 6th. They also got a 1-1 draw at the final day of the season against the champions Leyton Orient. And actually, despite losing by a goal to nil, Salford finished the season in 7th. So how about that for a playoff semi-final? Stockport County versus Salford. The other League 2 scores: Barrow 0, Stevenage 1, Grimsby 1, AFC Wimbledon 0. It was 1-1 in the game between Harrogate and Rochdale, 2-2 in the game between Newport and Crewe, Swindon 2, Crawley 1, and Walsall 2, Doncaster 1. We'll have some reaction to that Northampton story. We'll look ahead to Brighton versus Everton, and then we'll be back for second half commentary of Fulham versus Leicester City, all after the latest news with Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The group, which represents police officers in London, says arresting dozens of protesters ahead of the coronation was lawful. The anti-monarchy group Republic has accused Scotland Yard of trying to block its demonstration with controversial new government powers. 64 people were detained in London on Saturday and 4 were charged. Sanshia Berg has more.
2 of the people who've been charged have actually been charged with possession of drugs, Class A drugs. 2 other people have been charged with offences under the Public Order Act, but it's Section 5, which is not one of the new amendments that people have been so worried about. It's the part of the Act that makes an offence to cause harassment, alarm or distress.
Air raid sirens have sounded across Ukraine after Russia launched a fresh wave of drone and missile strikes. 1 person was killed in an attack in the southern Odessa region, and 5 people were hurt in explosions in Kyiv. The government insists that pharmacies will get the support they need after BBC analysis found the number of chemists in England was at its lowest level since 2015. Ministers will publish a care plan tomorrow, which is expected to include an expanded role for pharmacists. Ambulance workers in South East England will go on strike tomorrow. The Unite Union's escalating its industrial action in a long-running pay dispute after its members rejected the government's latest offer. The walkout will take place from midday until 10 p.m. There have been community events to mark the final day of the coronation celebrations. The Big Help Out is aimed at encouraging people to take up volunteering. The Prince and Princess of Wales helped to renovate a scout hut in Slough, and Rishi Sunak helped out at a lunch club in Hertfordshire.
It's fantastic to be a part of it here today and help out myself. Now, on the weekend, I think no other country in the world could put on such a dazzling spectacle, and it was a proud expression of our history, our culture, our traditions, but also a reflection of the modern character of our country.
And Hollywood stars including Jennifer Coolidge and Pedro Pascal have paid tribute to striking writers in their acceptance speeches at the MTV Movie and TV Awards. A pre-recorded ceremony was broadcast after the live event was cancelled at the last minute.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Listen live on digital, online, smart speaker or the BBC Sounds app.
The latest travel for you, and the M8 in Glasgow queues westbound at Cardonald at junction 25. It's just queuing into the roadwork section and following an accident as well. The M60 has a lane closed on each side. 24 to 23, Denton Island to Ashton under line, repairs going on there, and that's affecting you in each direction. The M6 and queues northbound 22 to 23, heading up to Haydock Island, and that's because of an accident where 2 lanes are closed. M4 queues on the eastbound side heading towards London, junction 6 at Slough to 5 at Langley, a broken down lorry in 1 lane. M5 queues heading back from the coast now from 26 at Wellington, all the way to 22 at Burnham-on-Sea, so it's all the way through Somerset, but queuing taking you about 35 minutes. Orna Merchant, 5 Live Travel.
3 words: grand, theft, auto.
Or as millions of us know it, GTA.
It involves stealing cars,
innovative,
joyriding,
provocative,
and being chased by police cars.
Fun.
I'm Bugsy Malone, and this is my grandest game. For 25 years now, it's been one of the most controversial games on the planet.
What earthly good can come from producing a game that allows you to behave like this?
I'm one of the very best. It said a lot to me about my life when I needed it most. And that's a story that's going to get told.
Bugsy Malone, My Grandest Game.
Out now on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
It's Fulham 3, Leicester 0 in the Premier League. Second half commentary on the way. Let's get more now on Northampton Town's promotion to League One. I've been speaking to their manager, John Brady, who was really waiting for it all to make sense during celebrations in the tunnel at Prenton Park.
More of a relief, you know, especially what we've gone through with all the injuries. Since Christmas, we've had over 10 players out every game, and players that we've managed to get in that would take a minimum wage. They've been discarded by other League Two clubs, have come in and helped brilliantly. One from Canada out of nowhere, and we just found a way, and that's been our motto over the last 3 or 4 months. And after last season, it's trying to let this sink in somehow. We have got over the line because we've been through a lot of pain as well. Sorry, boys.
No, don't worry. It sounds great.
They're doing a conga back up the tunnel at the moment.
And we'll hear much more from Northampton manager John Brady after 5 o'clock. Not much dancing to speak of at Everton at the moment. Our second commentary of the day is from the Amex. Brighton taking them on at 5:30. Sean Dyche's side 19th in the table, 1 point from safety. Haven't won any of their last 5. Brighton looking for a top 6 finish. Jonathan Pearce is there.
Yes, I mean, we don't know what to expect from the Brighton lineup, do we? Because Roberto De Zerbi often throws a spanner in the works. Who would have predicted Moises Caicedo playing right back against Manchester United and playing very well? They were superb that night. They were brilliant here against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and they know a victory will take them above Tottenham Hotspur into 6th place, Europa League place, with 2 games in hand on Spurs. They are really going for Europe. They've won 8 of their last 10 home league games, or in all competitions, I should say, keeping 7 clean sheets in that side, and they've won 5 of their 7 league games against sides currently in the relegation zone. Now, compared to that, Steve, Everton winless in their last 18 Premier League away games against sides starting today in the top half of the table. They cannot win away from home. We know they're going to be gritty. We know they're going to be attritional. We know they'll look for set pieces. We know they'll look for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who returned to scoring ways from the penalty spot. But will they get the ball against Brighton and Hove Albion, who are masters of keeping it? They need the ball to do anything. If Everton can get a victory here, I'll go as far as saying they'll stay up. And I'll tell you what, they'll be buoyed by that Leicester result.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything could happen in the Premier, take them outside of the relegation zone. But they've been struggling. All of these teams down there, the best thing I can say to supporters of these clubs is supporters of all of these teams feel like they're awful at the minute. There is going to be at least one team who have an awful season who somehow stay up. At the minute, doesn't look like being Leicester City, but there's a long way to go. Ali.
Yeah, it doesn't get much more awful than the way Leicester have played in the first half. The good news from the commentary point of view is the head-to-head gag is on, because Tete is coming on. And Kenny Tete, of course, plays for Fulham. But Dean Smith has far bigger worries than that. Utterly depressing experience for Leicester fans who've made the trip to Craven Cottage so far today. Fulham 3, Leicester 0. Former Fulham boss, actually, Mickey Adams was out on the pitch doing a little interview at half-time, which is not a great omen for Leicester either, because when they were last relegated from the Premier League back in 2004, Mickey Adams was the manager of Leicester City. But that is history, this is now. So Tete has come on. I'm not entirely sure, I've not seen. Who's he come on for? Pratt. OK, so like for like, Tete will start wide on the right-hand side, Harvey Barnes still on the left, Vardy through the middle, and James Maddison in the number 10 role. And Leicester have got to try and find some sort of performance, even if they lose this game, Scott Minto, to sort of give them something to take into the last 3 games.
Well, look, when you're 3-0 down at half-time, Ali, the one thing that a manager would say is win the second half. Try and get an early goal and see what happens, because you never know. But he's not really believing what he's saying. That first half was shocking, and you look at the games they've got coming up, as we've spoken about. Liverpool, Newcastle, and then Spurs at the end.
West Ham,
sorry.
Yeah.
West Ham, probably be in the Europa League final, Europa Conference final, you would think. But those next 2 games are very, very difficult. Yeah. I don't see them picking up a point in those 2 games. I don't see them picking up a point here the way they played in the first half.
They're attacking early on in the second half. They're attacking from right to left. They're all in blue with white trim, playing towards the Hammersmith end, which is half Fulham fans and half miserable Leicester fans. The Fulham lineup: Bernd Leno in goal, Kenny Tete, Tosin, Issa Diop and Anthony Robinson the back 4. Joao Palhinha has been brilliant again, actually, as has his midfield partner Harrison Reed, who's been back in the starting lineup this afternoon. Harry Wilson, Tom Cairney, the scorer of the 3rd goal, his first Premier League goal of the season for Fulham, and Willian, the scorer of the first goal, that free kick that was swung in from the left wing that went all the way through and beat Daniel Everson, and Carlos Vinicius, who scored his 4th goal of the season, took that one really well. So that's your Fulham lineup: white shirts, black shorts, white socks. Harrison Reed's watching the ball drop inside his own half. Soumare barges into him, but Harry Wilson's got the ball, and then Soumare goes lunging in and catches Wilson. Free kick for Fulham. Leicester have Daniel Everson in goal, Castagna, Fass, Soyuncu, Christensen as the back 4, Tielemans and Soumare. Tete, the Brazilian, on loan, is on at half-time wide on the right. Harvey Barnes on the yellow card on the left, and Maddison playing off Vardy. The ball with Fulham's German goalkeeper Bernd Leno.
I think the only surprise is there was just the one substitute. I mean, I think he probably could have taken off 5 or 6 if he'd have really wanted to. I would have taken off Soumare. I thought he was poor in the first half.
Maddison on the turn, edge of the area, looks for a curling shot. Diop gets his body in the way for Fulham, and the rebound runs all the way out to Willian on the left. Robinson was starting to make a run on the outside for him. Willian's held on to the ball and now plays it back to Diop, into Willian, and back it goes to the goalkeeper Leno. Second half of those final championship games of the regulation season before we get into the playoffs are underway. We'll keep you across all of that. Soyuncu stretching to try and stop Harry Wilson getting away down the right. Wilson onto it though, down by the byline. He actually gives it back to Soyuncu as he's trying to do a trick in front of him. Soumare to Christensen. That's a terrible clearance from Christensen with his right foot. Just gives it to Palhinha. And Palhinha plays a little 1-2 with Cairney, and now Wilson gets involved in the 1-2s. Back to Kenny Tete. Gonna have to go with Kenny Tete now throughout the second half. Can't just go with Tete. Christensen to Tielemans. That's a nice pass through the middle, and it gets Maddison on the move forward. Maddison's running away from Palhinha. Harvey Barnes has come drifting in from the left, gives him an option, thinks about the long-range strike, takes a touch, drives it low. Great save. Leno down low to his right, tips it behind for a corner.
Better. That's what you want from Leicester at the start of the second half. Again, it's about reaction. Look, you might not be able to get anything out of this game now, but you need to show a bit of character. And that's good from Harvey Barnes, coming in off the left, just right centre of the goal. It's a good shot. It's a really, really good save.
Corner for Leicester, trailing Fulham by 3-0. We heard from Jonathan Pearce at half-time. He and Danny Gabidon will bring you the commentary of Brighton-Everton, which kicks off at 5:30. Maddison's corner, deep to the far post, straight into the gloves of Bernd Leno. Leno comes racing out to the edge of the area. Willian is sprinting away down the left. Leno bowls it out underarm to Anthony Robinson, who sees the long ball over the top on for Harry Wilson. He's on as well. Lovely first touch from Wilson. Soumare with him. Wilson goes down. It looked like shoulder to shoulder. Wilson's absolutely furious. He's throwing his arm in the direction of referee Robert Jones, thinking he should have got a decision. And then Palhinha comes sliding in to stop Christensen and celebrates the tackle with a fist pump.
Shoulder to shoulder, absolutely, and Robert Jones got that spot on. Really good ball from Anthony Robinson. Harry Wilson, fantastic first touch, But Samare, to be fair to him, comes in and just basically uses strength. It's a heavyweight against a, should we say, light middle at best. And in the end, yeah, it wasn't the arm. Samare is clever there, because if he had used his arm, if he had pushed him over, it definitely would have been a foul.
And also, Scott, Wilson is trying to do what Samare did to him. He is trying to knock him off the ball. Samare was stronger. Another goal at Millwall in the Championship. Aaron Paul.
Blackburn have another back. Millwall 3, Blackburn 2. This one's been converted by Joe Rankin Costello. Ben Brereton Diaz's free kick was initially saved by George Long in the Millwall goal. The rebound was saved, and there was Rankin Costello at the third attempt to fire home. Millwall 3, Blackburn 2. Millwall still very much in the playoffs.
Kenny Tete charging down the right, finds Kenny! 4-0 for Fulham. Leicester getting ripped apart, and is this the season they're going to be relegated from the Premier League? If they continue playing like this, it will be. So easy for Fulham. Tete bursting down the right, found Kearney with the cross, one touch, bang, Fulham 4, Leicester 0.
Well, Fulham have done to Leicester what Leicester, I think, have planned to do to Fulham from the beginning of the game, and just counter really quickly. Really good play from Kenny Tete down the right-hand side. He runs with it, 40, 50 yards. He plays a simple ball in the middle, and Tom Kearney times his run perfectly, but no one is near him. He takes the first touch. Belfast tries to make the tackle, a lunging tackle. It doesn't happen, and that's a simple finish round about the penalty spot on his left foot. He's not going to miss them there. And if we wonder just what if Leicester got that first goal, could they come back? Absolutely no chance now.
So one with the right foot for Kearney, one with the left foot. If he can head one in now, Scott. And actually, if I'd done my homework properly, I'd be able to tell you the last time that Tom Kearney scored 2 goals in a game for Fulham, but I can't. But I can tell you that Huddersfield lead Reading by 1-0. Big smile on the face of Marco Silva. Fulham's last 3 games this season: Southampton away, Crystal Palace home, Manchester United away. They're just looking up. They're just going to keep going and try and get as many points as they can.
Well, they definitely want to keep Chelsea at arm's length, don't they? And do you know what? If they can finish in the top half, I think it would be a shame for them not to finish in the top half of the season that they've had, and they've had some very difficult fixtures coming up, so this has been a perfect performance from them. But you're absolutely right, Ali, if Leicester play like this from here on in, they're going down.
Totally. Here's Samare for Leicester. Maddison on the ball, corner of the Fulham penalty area, knocks it through the legs of Harrison Reed, collects it the other side. Kenny Tete gives him a little nudge, a second nudge. Maddison wants the free kick, and Robert Jones just waves his hand at him and says, you've got to get out.
I can also tell you as well, I've done my homework, and Thomas Kenny has never scored the perfect hat-trick.
Yes, I believe you. Here's Carlos Vinicius up against Soyuncu. Vinicius wide on the right, plays it back to Reed. This feels like it could be a big number for Fulham today, because they're in the mood. Reed tries to get round Samare. Samare makes the challenge. Tielemans plays it away to the left. Soyuncu clears with his left foot. Maddison's down again. Leicester continue to play with Barnes. Barnes is up against Joao Palhinha. Barnes trying to beat him on the outside, then the inside. Still Barnes trying to get past him. Palhinha, brilliant, gets his body in the way. How good has he been today?
He's been absolutely magnificent. I mean, we'll talk about him in just a second, but first, we're talking about Leicester now just having a counter-attack. They had 2 players, including Harvey Barnes, going forward. Fulham had 5-6 players back. You know, that's how to defend as a team. Leicester just aren't doing that. But in terms of Palhinha, he makes the tackle that leads to 2-0. He makes the tackle that leads to 3-0. He puts himself in the right position there. The timing of his tackles are absolutely superb. Maybe sometimes he goes to ground a bit too much if you really want to nitpick. But what a player he's been. I don't even think Marco Silva can be thinking that he would have had this much of an impact.
A goal in the Championship in the game between Swansea and West Brom. Sheridan Robbins.
Swansea 1, West Brom 2. They actually hadn't started very well, but it's Samir J who headed home from a corner. They're attacking their fans in this second half. They're doing their bit. They've gone up to 7th. It's Swansea 1, West Brom 2.
Tom Kearney trying a long-range effort for the hat-trick from the edge of the box. It was blocked. There were shouts of handball from the Fulham fans, and for the moment, Wout Faes is just happy to clear that ball anywhere. Vardy wins a header on the halfway line. Great touch from him wide on the right, looking to get Tete away down the right. Diop's got it covered. Back he goes. Tete blocks, and that'll be a throw-in to Fulham in their left-back position. So just in terms of that Championship table, with those goals that have been going in at Millwall and then in the game between Swansea and West Brom, Millwall still in 5th, currently on 71 points as things stand. Coventry in 6th on 70, but West Brom sneaking up behind them on 69. But those teams beneath that dotted line need Blackburn to get back against Millwall. That's currently Millwall 3, Blackburn 2. And Coventry, of course, away against Middlesbrough, are doing what they need to do at the moment. They've got the 1-1 draw, which is enough for them. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Palhinha, first wrong move from him, right-footed ball easily intercepted. Tielemans plays to Maddison. Leicester aren't coming back from 4-0, surely. Here's Maddison bringing it forward with the left foot. Easy save for Leno.
No, they're not. It's a short answer to that, Ali. But again, this is about character now, and not just for the travelling fans that have come all the way down to West London, South West London, but also just for Leicester fans anywhere in the world, because they must be listening to this and just thinking, what is happening to our team? You know, we're expecting some kind of reaction in the second half, and we haven't seen it. And it just looks as if Fulham really want to score fifth, they can.
Yeah, Birmingham 0, Sheffield United 1. Ollie McBurney has scored for Sheffield United in the Championship. They'll be playing Premier League football next season. Fass is in and has committed a foul there. 30 yards from the Leicester goal in a central position, so that will be a free kick for Fulham. Some top production going on here, by the way, from Nick Godwin. Look, we're already on to Kearney. Tom Kearney last scored 2 against Reading back in October 2019 at the Medeski Stadium in a 4-1 win. Ask and you will receive.
He's good, that lad. I've known him for years.
Thank you very much, Nick.
I would say, despite being an Ipswich fan, but I won't say that with you.
Two of us here, we can gang up on you, yeah.
Better than Charlton this season, anyway.
Free kick, Fulham. Scott Minto with us at Craven Cottage, watching a woeful Leicester performance, and because it's woeful, you're trying to judge the Fulham performance as well, but Fulham have been excellent this season. They've been really good today as well. Free kick coming for Fulham shortly here. Robert Jones blows his whistle. Kearney just chips it up with his left foot into the far post, chested down by Wilson, lobs it across goal. Fass heads it away. Goal at Preston, Mas Faruqi.
And it's for the away side. 5,500 Sunderland fans in full voice to my left. Amad Diallo putting Sunderland 1-0 up here at Preston. Still not enough at the moment, though, for a top 6 finish. Preston 0, Sunderland 1.
Thank you, Maz. Fulham 4, Leicester 0. Second half, Maddison is losing the plot here with Robert Jones. He's down on the floor again, and again he doesn't get the decision. And I'm wondering whether he's going to make a silly challenge now. Makes a tackle. That was a clean tackle. And here's Maddison on the ball. And if Reed fouls him there, I think he's going to flip his lid. He wins the free kick, James Maddison. And he's going to get booked. And that's the other thing, actually, Scott. Keep your cool, because they're going to need him.
Yeah, absolutely. If Leicester are to stay up, you're going to need your top players. And he is arguably their best player. But, I mean, it was a simple free kick from Tom Kearney. He didn't even whip it in there. He just kind of dinked it to the far post. Harry Wilson was able to bring the ball down, take a second touch and try and cross it. It was a poor cross in the end, but how can that be on set pieces?
If Coventry City were to concede against Middlesbrough and go behind, we're then looking at a goal difference situation. Sunderland and Coventry and West Brom would all be level on points, and it looks to me like Sunderland actually level on goal difference with Coventry. If Coventry were to concede, would then be in the top 6 on goal scored. We'll take you around the Championship grounds in just a second. That's me doing some sort of mental maths on the spin. Ball forward from Tielemans, looking to find Castagna, gets the cross in, might fall to Maddison. Here's a chance. Maddison lays it off to Barnes, off the bar and in. That's in. Harvey Barnes has got one back for Leicester, and they've got just over half an hour to try and pull off some sort of miraculous comeback. Good strike by Barnes, played in by Maddison. It hit the bar, came down, and I just wondered whether it had crossed the line, but it did eventually. It nestled in the bottom corner. Fulham 4, Leicester 1.
Yeah, and really good play from Maddison there. He was very unselfish. He could have tried to have a shot himself, but he realised Harvey Barnes was in the right position, and this is better from Leicester going forward, but too little too late in my opinion. Good cross from the right hand side. Again, Maddison brings the ball down. He's looking as if he was trying to maybe manipulate it himself to have the shot, but he realised Barnes is in the right position. Barnes moves his body around to have it onto his right foot and just on the corner of the 6-yard box. Leno makes a bit of a save, but in the end the power of the shot, it hits the crossbar, the underside of it, and goes in.
Leicester fans, some of them booing and jeering. Tielemans off. Wilfred and Ndidi on. Goal at Turf Moor. This is Burnley-Cardiff. Betty Glover.
Burnley loving life. It's Burnley 3, Cardiff 0. Brilliant goal from Scott Twine from a free kick on the edge of the area. Slotted it straight past the diving keeper. They're now on course for over 100 points. The first team to do so in the Championship since Leicester in 2014. It's Burnley 3, Cardiff 0.
Well, Leicester could be back in the Championship next season the way things are going. They have got a goal back here, but they're 4-1 down, and they've got some defending to do again. Harry Wilson plays a pass with his left foot to Harrison Reed. Joao Palhinha holds onto it for Fulham inside the Leicester half, and Reed plays back to Issa Diop. Diop across the halfway line. Plays the pass to Robinson on the left. Willian with a flick. Leicester chasing shadows. Kearney wide to Willian. Back to Kearney. 10 yards inside the Leicester half on the left-hand side. Sheffield United have a second away to Birmingham. James McAtee, one of those loanees from Manchester City, has scored that one, and Sam Bell has scored for Bristol City. QPR 0, Bristol City 2. Fulham comfortable here, so let's take you around the grounds in the Championship. First, Middlesbrough, Coventry. Chris Coles.
Where it is 1-1, but Ali, you're on the hoof mats a couple of moments ago. Absolutely spot on. That goal for Sunderland just changes things here. If Middlesbrough were to score, then Sunderland would leapfrog Coventry into that final playoff place, courtesy of goals scored. Middlesbrough look menacing as well. Much improved on their first half performance. Ryan Giles whipping some dangerous crosses in on the left-hand side. And what do Coventry do? They look good going forward, but they know they're at risk at the back. Fascinatingly poised. Middlesbrough 1, Coventry 1.
Yeah, I think I'm right in saying as well, Millwall-Blackburn. If Blackburn were to score the next goal, that'll get very interesting as well. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Millwall 3, Blackburn 2. The visitors on the hunt for an equaliser. Loads of intricate play. They knock it around beautifully, but the end product somewhat lacking it, and the atmosphere has just got that little bit more tense here in South London as the Monks chant booms around the Den. Millwall 3, Blackburn 2.
Sunderland still hopeful at Preston there. Maz Faruqi.
And they're still pressing forward. They still lead by a goal to nil, but they've had to clear off their own goal line as well, Sunderland, but they're buoyed by the vocal support of the Mackham army to my left. Still Preston 0. Sunderland have just scored a second. That's the substitute Alex Pritchard. So Sunderland making sure of the 3 points here, but they still need Coventry to slip up. Preston 0, Sunderland 2.
Straight back to the new Den. There's been a goal. Aaron Paul.
Blackburn have found the equaliser, and could this be the best possible parting gift from Ben Brereton Diaz? He's curled one in from the edge of the area. It's an absolute stunner, and as things stand, Millwall will be dropping out of the playoff picture. Blackburn have equalised from 3-1 down. It's Millwall 3, Blackburn 3.
Wow, that is exactly what happens on these kind of days, and there is so much drama still to come. Fulham 4, Leicester 1 here. Let's check in at Swansea West Brom. Sheridan Robbins.
Swansea 1, West Brom 2. They're doing all they can, and the news is filtering through. All those fans are on their phones as well as watching this game. Swansea actually on top here, but West Brom have taken their chance when it's come. It's Swansea 1, West Brom 2.
Fulham 4, Leicester 1. So fifth at the moment in the Championship table is Coventry. Sunderland are now going to nick the last playoff spot as things stand. They're on 69 points, 1 point behind Coventry. West Brom are on 69 points behind Sunderland on goal difference. Millwall on 69 points behind Sunderland on goal difference as well. I beg your pardon, both of those two behind Sunderland on goals scored. That is what it's coming down to at the moment.
It's going to change again, Ali. You know that, don't you?
Here's Vardy chasing a ball to the edge of the penalty area. Flag is up. Penalty for Leicester. So maybe the comeback is on. Leno flying off his line, catches Vardy in the inside right channel, almost down by the byline. The assistant referee had no hesitation. He put the flag up. The video assistant referee is going to have to check. It's in the box. Vardy gets the touch. Leno catches Vardy. That's a penalty.
That's absolutely brilliant from Jamie Vardy. That is what he's all about. And you can see that Diop wanted to sort of let it go for Leno. Leno comes out, but he just gets the touch. Leno will say that he got the touch, but for me, that's a foul. That's a penalty. VAR will be looking at it.
Blimey, more drama. Robert Jones at the moment is standing in the penalty area away to our left, and he's waiting for communication from Jared Gillett. and we are having a look at the monitor at the slow motion of the challenge on Leno on Vardy.
Can't have a look at the angle behind the goal. That won't be definitive. It's more the side, and therefore he's got to decide. I think he gets a bit of a touch of the ball, Leno, but after Vardy gets a touch first and he brings Vardy down, I don't think that Leno has got enough of a touch.
Right.
And again, we're talking about a clear and obvious error for it to be overturned.
Very good point.
And you know, I was part of a sort of a Zoom meeting to listen in off the record for broadcasters a week or so ago, and Howard Webb was talking about that. He didn't like the word obvious, but he said it's got to be a clear mistake.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a clear mistake in my opinion. Vardy gets there, gets the touch. We'll wait and see whether he gets the penalty, wait and see if he scores, and then when he can talk about whether they're back in this game or not.
Jamie Vardy, yeah, he's gone looking for the match ball. I wonder why he was marching off to the right. Discussed before the start of this game. Jamie Vardy, having won the penalty, is now going to take the penalty for Leicester. They've had problems with penalties. James Maddison missed the one on Monday, a big one.
If Maddison were to take it and therefore miss, I mean, could you imagine? So Jamie Vardy has to take it.
So here he comes, 36-year-old Jamie Vardy, to try and get Leicester back to 4-2. Looks at Bernd Leno with his right foot. Leno saved it on the rebound over the bar from Maddison. Would you believe it? Maddison misses from the spot on Monday, and Jamie Vardy misses from the spot a week later. And had it gone in, it would have just given them a sniff of getting back into this game. But Leno guessed right. He's made the save, and Leicester can't stick the penalties away.
It's not easy to take a penalty. It's really not. Everybody thinks it's a pretty simple goal. It's not. And Jamie Vardy, what he does, he kind of like puts it towards the goalkeeper's left, and it's not enough in a corner, and he's not got enough power on it. So it's one of those where if the keeper guesses right, he is going to save it. Sometimes you've had a discussion with this, Ali, as well, haven't you, about just smacking it as hard as you can. I remember Ray Stewart used to do it, and Julian Dix used to do it as well. I played with Paolo Di Canio, who was the best. He just used to think it down the middle most of the time. You need some bottle to do that. Obviously, Maddison missed his down the middle as well, but that's a big blow for Leicester.
Right, back to the Championship. Goal at Swansea, Sheridan Robbins.
Swansea 2, West Brom 2. Said it's been a good game, and I said Swansea had been on top, and it's a great goal. Oliver Nitcham from the edge of the box into the bottom corner, and now it's looking like a long road for West Brom. They slip back to 8th as it stands. Swansea 2, West Brom 2.
Now this is an important one at Deepdale, because Sunderland, as things stand, or as things stood, were in the playoffs. There's been another goal in their game against Preston. Masfarouki.
Another one for them in the goals scored tally. Ali. Preston 0, Sunderland 3. Jack Clark sweeping in down the left. The away side section is going absolutely bonkers. They are still in the playoffs as it stands. Preston 0, Sunderland 3.
Aaron Paul at Millwall.
22 to go, Millwall 3, Blackburn 3. The Lions are on the ropes here. Blackburn so close to a fourth. Ben Brereton Diaz inspired down the left-hand side. He shot towards the near post. He hit the near post. It bounced out towards Tyrese Dolan. Goal gaping. He put it wide. I do not know how Millwall survived that. Millwall 3, Blackburn 3.
So Sunderland in 6th, Millwall in 7th, both on 69 points. Sunderland ahead of them quite clearly on goal difference, but if Millwall can score again, Sunderland now leading Preston by 2-0. Millwall would jump back into the top 6. That's where we stand. We're midway through the second half here at Fulham. Fulham lead Leicester by 4-1. Had Vardy stuck that away, I mean, we'd totally written Leicester off. Then you're thinking maybe they can get a point out of this.
Well, they certainly would have been back in the game, wouldn't they? 2 goals away, and suddenly what would have been 25, 30 minutes left. Yes, it would have been a wonderful opportunity. And look, if you're going to come back into the game from 4-0 down, every opportunity you have, you need to stick in the back of the net. So that's a big missed one.
3 goals for Sunderland. Beg your pardon, we just heard there from Maz. Preston 0, Sunderland 3, which is crucial. So many goals, so many stories, so many games. We had League 2. Obviously finishing up in terms of the regulation season earlier on today. Northampton winning automatic promotion alongside Leyton Orient and Stevenage. Stockport, Carlisle, Bradford and Salford all into the playoffs. And of course Hartlepool and Rochdale, we know, already relegated from the Football League. And if you love your Football League playoffs, they start on Friday. First game is in League One, Peterborough against Sheffield Wednesday. 12 games in the space of 8 days in the playoffs.
Don't you just love the last day of the season in the EFL? It's amazing, isn't it?
Always, Scott, always. We got more football coming your way in terms of this Premier League relegation battle. Full commentary on Brighton Everton, 5:30 this evening. Monday Night Club after that. Mark Chapman and the team, they'll bring you updates of Nottingham Forest against Southampton. Palhinha heads the ball forward. Here's Harry Wilson, flicks it back to Kenny Tete. Forward to Polinia, away from Madison. Soumare in advisedly, advantage played. Caught Polinia there. Polinia's okay, back on his feet. Willian on the ball, edge of the Leicester box, right-footed effort. Another one for Fulham. Willian has his second. Danced into space on the edge of the box, whips the shot past Daniel Everson. It's been a sorry old day for Leicester City, but Fulham are flying. Fulham 5, Leicester 1.
It's just so obvious that he's about to do that. He's coming inside, defenders, they've got him engaged. Even Everson, the goalkeeper, he's got to know that he's going to probably stick that to the far post. But it's too simple. A good ball across the field from Harrison Reed. He comes inside one, he comes inside two. He's still 25 yards out, and got to have a really good strike to beat Everson. Again, there's no one from Leicester reading the situation at all. And as he comes inside, no one engages. The shot comes in, and I just think the goalkeeper's got to know what he's going to be doing. So just shuffle your feet across a little bit more. But you have to say, well played, Willian. How well has he played this season? He's been absolutely amazing for this Fulham side. And 5-1 again. They've just put them back in their place now, haven't they?
Yeah, 20 minutes to play. Craven Cottage is bouncing, as you can hear. Bottom of the Premier League table reads as follows. Leicester on 30 points, but they will have played a game more than the likes of Everton, Nottingham Forest and Southampton, who play later today. Leeds on 30, Nottingham Forest on 30, Everton on 29, Southampton on 24, and Leicester getting thumped here. And their next game is against Liverpool. They host Liverpool at the weekend. As Scott was saying in the first half, Liverpool with so much themselves still to play for. They're a point behind Manchester United in the race for Champions League football, having played a game more.
6 wins out of 6 as well,
That's right, exactly. Tete for Leicester. Brazilian Tete. Soumare to Madison. Madison goes down, gets a free kick. Wilson's caught him, shooting range. But it always looked too much for Leicester, but 5-1 with 20 minutes to play, and Madison's rubbing his lower back here.
If they were to have any chance at all of getting into this game, then Jamie Vardy had to score from that penalty, didn't they? 4-2, and it just plants a seed of doubt in not just the Fulham players, but the Fulham fans as well, and it would have been very, very quiet. But 5-1, it is game over.
What you were saying about the penalties as well and striking them, Vardy normally actually does go power, doesn't he, Scott? The penalties I remember of Jamie Vardy are really giving it a good old thump, where that was a sort of side footer placed effort, wasn't it?
I think if you're nervous in any way, shape or form, just hit it as hard as you can. If the goalkeeper somehow gets it, he might only just palm it and go into the back of the net. If you put it there in the corner, it really has to go in the corner, and it wasn't.
James Maddison fancies this. It's a long way out. This is a good 30 yards out in a central position, but he's probably thinking, why not have a go? We're 5-1 down and nothing else has really worked today. Leno goes racing over to his left-hand post to check the wall, back in the middle of his goal. Maddison jogs on the spot, right-footed over the wall, just over the bar. Good strike, but Leno was fairly confident he had that covered.
Yeah, he was unlucky. He's just blowing out there, James Maddison. He knows it was close. As you say, 25 yards out, right in front of goal. I do think Bernd Leno knew it was going over.
If you've missed any of today's football stories, they're going to do well to fit it all into the Football Daily podcast, which will be there for you on the BBC Sounds app tomorrow. League 2 finishing today, Championship as well. Playoffs still to come, of course, in both divisions, and all this Premier League relegation stuff as well. Let's check back in at Millwall. Millwall need a goal. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Millwall 3, Blackburn Rovers 3. Millwall began this half in 5th position and with a bit of safety. They're currently 7th. Gary Router's made 2 changes. He's brought Scott Malone and the pacey Tyler Bury to try and inject something, because it's all Blackburn late on in this second half as Malone wins the ball back in the middle of the pitch. 17 minutes to go. Millwall 3, Blackburn 3. Both of these clubs currently missing out on the playoffs.
Watford leads Stoke 1-0. What about Coventry away at Middlesbrough? Important as well, Chris Coles.
An important lead for Coventry. They are still getting the point they need to secure a playoff place. Middlesbrough 1, Coventry 1, and the Sky Blues are getting back into it after a dicey start to the second half in which Middlesbrough laid siege to the Coventry goal without really testing Ben Wilson. Stoppage in play to deal with an injury. Coventry won't mind this. They're keen to take the sting out of this game, drawing 1-1, and that is enough at the moment. Middlesbrough 1, Coventry 1.
Teams going into the playoffs at the moment losing Luton, Middlesbrough, Coventry and Sunderland. Sunderland above Millwall on goal difference. That's how it stands at the moment. Brighton against Everton, 5:30 is our next commentary. Jonathan Pearce has the team news.
2 changes for Brighton from the 1-0 win over Manchester United. Pascal Gross has recovered from injury. He'll replace Billy Gilmour. I think that Caicedo will probably push back into midfield then. And Dennis Undav for Enciso, their other change. 2 changes also for Everton, 1 in force with Coleman out for the season. Patterson came on for him at Leicester. He starts. The other one is a surprise. Alistair, Yerry Mina preferred to Michael Keane. That's his first appearance since January.
Interesting. OK, Jonathan's with Danny Gabbid on. Full commentary here on 5 Live and BBC Sound. Sheridan Robbins watching Swansea West Brom in the Championship.
Swansea 2, West Brom 2. West Brom throwing everything at it. Thomas Asante playing through a brilliant ball for John Swift. All he had to do was poke it into the back of the net, but he shot just wide of the post. Not enough for West Brom, but they're throwing everything at it. Swansea 2, West Brom 2.
Fulham leading Leicester 5-1. Fulham attacking and looking for a 6. Willian finds Kearney inside the Leicester penalty area, down by the byline on the left. Half tackled by Castagna. Castagna clears with his right foot. Let's head back to Deepdale. No, change that. We'll go to the new den. Aaron Paul.
Living very, very dangerously. Caught ball in from the far side. Ben Bertrand Diaz rising high at the back post. He's heading it towards goal. There was Scott Malone. He's managed to claw it away with something, some part of his body, and then he's got stuck in the net. I don't know what's happened there. Magnificent defending from Malone. Blackburn pushing for a winner. Millwall 3, Blackburn 3.
Managers losing it, players losing it, reporters losing it as well. One of those kind of days on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Dramatic stuff. Change coming here at Fulham Leicester. Still 5-1 to Fulham. Tete's just gone close for Leicester. Shot just past the right hand post. Maz Faruqi watching Preston Sunderland.
Still Preston 0, Sunderland 3. Preston shell shocked here, Ali. Remember it was 0-0 at half time. It was 0-0 to the 54th minute, and then 3 goals in 11 minutes from Sunderland, putting them into the playoffs as it stands on goals scored, and they're pushing for a 4th. Preston 0, Sunderland 3.
15 minutes remaining in this one. Game is gone for Leicester. Changes coming for them. Luke Thomas is coming on for Christensen at left back. Dewsbury Hall into midfield for Boubakary Samare, and Patson Daka on for Jamie Vardy up front. So Vardy, having missed the penalty, is going to get some rest ahead of the Liverpool game, which is the next one for Leicester. And there was a Fulham change that I didn't bring you as well. I think Lukic came on for Harrison Reed, which is probably while we were flying about all over the place. Or is that a planned change for Fulham coming? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Everyone's getting confused and lost, including myself. So we'll wait and see. Yeah, Reed's coming off.
You know what's happening, though? You can read the future. What are the 6 numbers next weekend in the lottery?
Big roar for Harrison Reed. Did really well for Fulham in the midfield this afternoon. Him and Pelini have been fantastic.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And you know what Pelini has done? Not just in terms of putting great individual performances throughout the season. He's allowed Harrison Reed to blossom and to get forward himself and to be more of an attacking threat. So again, Paulinho just a fantastic signing, not just in terms of how he does individually, but these really good players make players around them a lot better as well.
I can see that 18-year-old Luke Harris has come on as well for Fulham here. Big hopes for him. So he's on wearing number 28. He's taken his position in the Fulham midfield. The ball's gone out for a Leicester throw on the right. 13 minutes remaining in this game. No doubt about the result. The winners of this one, it's going to be Fulham crushing Leicester by 5-1. Vardy's penalty came at 4-1 down. That was saved by Bernd Leno, and then Willian down the other end, as Scott Minto said, just to put Leicester back in their box. Long ball from Soyuncu for Harvey Barnes to chase. He has scored the only goal for Leicester this afternoon. It gets away from him and it goes behind for a goal kick to Fulham. So 13 minutes remaining in the game. It's all fallen a bit quiet in here. No sort of voice of protest at the moment from the Leicester fans, although they're certainly going to have their say and have been having their say. Very disappointed with the performance today, quite rightly.
Do you know what, Ali? It's a really good point, because the Leicester fans, no one's gone home. They're still trying to shout and get behind their side, and what they've seen has been a really shocking performance, and I'm sure Dean Smith will apologise for what the players have done today. So fair play to the Leicester away fans.
Another change for Fulham, by the way, that I hadn't spotted. Shane Duffy is on, former Brighton man, is on at centre-back alongside Tosin, so he's replaced Issa Diop. That's another change made late in this game. Patson Daka's on for Vardy. He's chasing to try and win the ball back for Leicester. 3 games to go after this one for Leicester, and a chance for the likes of Everton, Nottingham Forest and Southampton to get ahead of them if they can get some points on the board today. Maddison's pass looking for Barnes, intercepted. Fulham clear up towards Vinicius. Offside flag goes up. Dean Smith, Leicester boss, had both arms in the air there. Don't forget, of course, a few seasons ago he dug Aston Villa out of trouble. 2 wins and 2 draws in the last 4 games to keep them up that season after they'd just been promoted the season before. Final game that season actually was against West Ham, as well as it is for Leicester this season. That already from this far away looks massive for Leicester. Good skills from Tete into the penalty area. Ball falls to Maddison. Angles tight for him. Down he goes. Another penalty. It's another penalty for Leicester. Who's going to take this one? Maddison was caught. He's down. Tielemans is off. Vardy's missed the last one. Maddison missed his one on Monday.
He's calling for you, Ali.
He is caught, Maddison. That is a penalty. And I think Maddison's going to take it, Scott. He's got the ball under his arm. I mean, he's got to take responsibility and have another go, hasn't he?
I mean, in a way, he's got nothing to lose. They're not going to come back into this game. So if you miss it, yes, of course, it's going to be playing on your mind that you've missed the last 2. But in a way, it's a great opportunity to say, look, let's stick it in the back of the net, and your last penalty was a goal.
Right, Maddison has the ball tucked under his right arm. 10 minutes to play. Leicester fans, well, they know the game is gone, but they're on their feet and singing and encouraging James Maddison, who untucks his shirt, settles himself. Robert Jones has a word with him, and Maddison at the moment is standing right over the ball on the penalty spot.
Psychologically, it's fascinating to know what's going through his mind right now.
Do you think he's going to go down the middle?
No, I definitely don't.
Okay, let's see. Leno's already saved one from Vardy. Here's Maddison, sends Leno the wrong way, and Leicester have a second goal on the afternoon. Won't make any difference to the eventual result, but James Maddison can feel a little bit better about taking penalties. Who knows who's going to take the next one whenever that may come. It's Leicester, who are now 5-2 down against Fulham here at Craven Cottage.
Well, I don't think that was any more in the corner than Jamie Vardy's, and it was the same side. So if Ederson had gone the right way, then he probably would have saved it, but he didn't, so it's a goal, and fair play to him for stepping up and having the bottle to do that after what happened last time out.
More changes coming in this game. Willian is coming off for Fulham. Manor Solomon, the Israeli, is coming on. Willian with 2 goals today. As Scott has been saying throughout the second half, has done really well in his first season here at the club. Harry Wilson is coming off. Tom Kearney, his name has just been announced as well. Niskans Kibano is another one coming off. And just to remind you of what's going on in the Championship, I can see that Birmingham have got a goal back against Sheffield United, but crucially in the race for those final 2 playoff spots, we have Coventry in 5th, who are currently still 1-1 away to Middlesbrough, but were Middlesbrough to score, they would then drop to 69 points, but they would be ahead of Millwall and West Brom actually on goal difference. And Sunderland are taking the final playoff spot at the moment. They are winning comfortably at Preston. Millwall are 3-3 at home to Blackburn and need to get another goal to get themselves back in the shake-up.
What a dramatic last day. It's just incredible. I mean, I wonder how many times that sort of 5th and 6th have changed places today.
Yeah, absolutely. 5-2. Struggling to keep track of the score in this game, actually, with everything else that is going on. But actually, there are big screens at either end of the ground. Here's the 18-year-old Luke Harris, the Welshman. Pass to his right-hand side. Kibano's cross blocked by Soyuncu. Kenny Tete, Niskans Kibano again. Dewsbury Hall just throws him to the floor. Assistant referee thought that was a fair challenge. Tete's there for Fulham. He's wrestling for the ball. Tackled by Luke Thomas, and the throw-in goes Fulham's way.
That's funny, when I said about how many times it's changed, Nick, the producer, just kept on nodding his head and saying lots.
Yeah, exactly. Just checking here on the change. Luke Harris came on for Harrison Reed. Lukic never came on. That's what happened. Is that right? No, Lukic did come on. So Luke Harris, what's Luke Harris all about? Number 28 out there is Sasa Lukic. I've got Luke Harris's number wrong. He wears number 38. We've got it sorted now. All over the place. That's the problem, Scott. We're doing the Coronation, then Hearts Celtic, and then Fulham against Leicester. I need some sleep.
Not many can do it, mate. Not many.
Sasa Lukic in the heart of the Fulham midfield. We got there in the end, and we do know that Fulham are leading Leicester by 5-2, and we do know we've still got some drama on the way on the final day of this championship season. Let's take you back to Millwall. Aaron Paul.
Millwall 3, Blackburn Rovers 3, 6 and a bit minutes to go as Dolan tries the shot. It's cleared away from Scott Malone. The Millwall boss Gary Rowett has brought Tom Bradshaw, his leading goal scorer, to the complete surprise of everyone here inside the new den. As you mentioned countless times, Millwall desperate for a goal here to keep their playoff dream alive. It's 3-3. Blackburn have a corner.
Fulham 5, Leicester 2. Free kick coming Fulham's way. Let's check in at Deepdale. Maz Faruqi.
7.5 minutes to play plus stoppage time. Still Preston 0, Sunderland 3. This game is well won for Sunderland. The energy and the intensity of the game has really gone out of it because they know they've got the 3 points sewn up, Sunderland, but they're keeping an anxious eye on what's going on elsewhere. Preston 0, Sunderland 3.
Yeah, Sunderland currently sitting in 6th in the championship table. Fulham free kick. Can they make it 6? 6 minutes remaining in the game. Brighton Everton on the way here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Free kick is 25 yards from goal. Corner of the penalty area, played across the face of the box to Lukic, and Lukic's shot is closed down by Soyuncu. And that will go out for a throw into Fulham, midway inside the Leicester half on the right.
Everyone's just taking a little bit of a breather now, haven't they?
Me too.
7 goals and a missed penalty.
I know. Throw in for Fulham. Kenny Tete applauded. Fulham very sedate pace now, quite happy. They'll take the 3 points, closing to within 2 points of Brentford above them, and as Scott has been mentioning, of course, going further clear of Chelsea beneath them. Wout Faes clips one away with his left foot. Maddison down on the floor. Polinia in to try and win a couple of tackles. Dewsbury Hall, sliding challenge on him from Tete. Dewsbury Hall picks himself to his feet. Right, here's a big one. Goal at Millwall. Aaron Paul.
Millwall 3, Blackburn Rovers 4, and it's Ben Brereton Diaz again. Millwall up one end. Tyler Bury with the effort, saved by Peters, and Blackburn just broke clinically. The ball over the far side wasn't reached by Jake Cooper. It was pinged back to the back post, and there was Ben Brereton Diaz with an empty net to shoot in. The den is slowly starting to empty.
Fulham free kick on the way here, 5 minutes to play. Fulham 5, Leicester 2. Taking you back to Deepdale shortly. Header down, header wide at the far post, and behind for a goal kick. It was Shane Duffy who was trying to get on the end of it for Fulham. Goal kick to Leicester. Maz Faruqi at Preston.
Oh, you can hear the away fans behind me, Ali. It's not the first time this afternoon they've erupted, but they're singing, they're dancing. They've heard the news of that Blackburn goal. The red flares have just been thrown onto the pitch as well, because they know their place in the playoffs is pretty much assured now at the moment. Preston 0, Sunderland 3.
Yeah, Sunderland in 6th spot. Goal difference of plus 13. It's Blackburn now in 7th, equal on points with them, but goal difference of -2. They are now winning, of course, at Millwall, but way behind Sunderland on goal difference, who are comfortably ahead. Luke Thomas with an interception. Plays it to Wilfred Ndidi, driving forward for Leicester. Wide to Thomas on the left-hand side. Are we going to get an 8th goal in this game? Thomas to Maddison, back to goal, just outside the Fulham penalty area on the left, gets his cross in, headed away to the edge of the penalty area. Everyone leaves it for each other. Thomas heads to Ndidi, little flip with the back heel. We'll check in at Middlesbrough Coventry. Chris Coles.
Very similar scenes here, Ali, to Maz at Deepdale. The Sky Blues fans are singing because they know that Blackburn goal at Millwall means they are pretty much there. A draw would do it anyway, but even if they were to concede to Middlesbrough, they'd still make the playoffs. The game, well, you described yours as being played at a sedate pace. Yeah, this one as well. Middlesbrough 1, Coventry 1.
Kenny Tete's ball down the right. 2.5 minutes remaining plus added time here. So playoffs as it stands will be Luton Sunderland and Middlesbrough Coventry. Middlesbrough Coventry playing each other today and currently at 1-1. Fulham 5, Leicester 2. So we'd written Leicester off, Scott Mento, at half-time in terms of not just this game, but crikey, carry on like this and they're down. Do we reassess that at all after this second half from Leicester having scored a couple of goals, or not?
Not really. The game was done and dusted in the first half. You know, Fulham took the foot off the gas. Leicester tried to step it up like you should do. And yes, they've scored 2 goals and missed a penalty, but you know, it's too little too late. Steve made the point, actually, there's going to be one team, one big team that would have had a bad season and somehow stayed up. There'll be 2 actually, and Leicester will be hoping that's the case.
Fulham 5, Leicester 2. Tete on the dribble for Leicester, looking for Maddison, edge of the box. Guess who is there for Fulham? João Palhinha clears away. And out for a throw into Leicester. On the halfway line, 89th minute of the game. And Fulham are leading Leicester by 5 goals to 2. Here they come. Leicester might break loose for Daka. What a touch by Leno. In danger. Comes back to Barnes, 5-3. We do have an 8th goal in the game. Can Leicester now score 2 in a little bit of added time, plus 1 minute remaining at the end of this game? Mix up from Fulham at the back. Leno thought he'd rescued it. He got a finger on it to divert it away from Daka, but Barnes followed in. He's got his 2nd goal of the game. Fulham 5, Leicester 3, just completely nuts here.
Well, it is, and it's just become a bit too easy for Fulham, really, and it's Shane Duffy who's just heading the ball back where he should just be heading it away. He's trying to head it back and a little bit to the left, which is completely wrong-footed of Bernd Leno. And he's scrambling around. He gets the touch, and you're thinking, oh, okay, they're able to get rid of it. But Daka does really well. He keeps the ball alive. Harvey Barnes follows in. Again, we talk about just gambling. What if? Right place, right time. 5-3. Surely not.
Oh, no, surely not. 5-5. I remember wasn't there a West Brom Manchester United 5-5 on the final day of the season when Lukaku got a hat-trick for... Well, look, we're in the 90th minute of the game. We've got Brighton Everton on the way, which hopefully will provide similar drama.
You know, we've got Paulinho being man of the match here, and I thought about Portuguese football.
Oh, now then, Shane Duffy's got his hands all over Harvey Barnes. Madison was trying to float one over the top. Barnes goes down. Referee had a good view and didn't seem to see it the same way.
I think that was a foul, actually, and he definitely put his arm on his shoulder, and there was contact there. And obviously the referee will be feeling that actually maybe it wasn't enough. I was just talking about Portuguese football. They have at least 8 to 10 minutes post injury time now. The ball's just come up now at 6 minutes.
6 minutes of added time remaining. Brighton Everton on the way. We'll be rounding up the final round of championship games ahead of the playoffs. Ball is with Lukic, edge of the penalty area, slides the pass to the right. Cabano, support from Tete. Tete's cross comes in straight into the arms of Everson. So Leicester, to get a point, need 2 goals in 6 minutes. That is not impossible from what we've seen this afternoon. But blimey, if Fulham don't win this game, they will be absolutely kicking themselves.
Well, if Leicester somehow get a point out of this, they will be thinking that we are going to stay up despite playing like that the gods are with us. But absolutely, how can you score 5 goals at home and not win? And be 4-0 up as well.
Joao Palini is just trying to calm things down for Fulham in that midfield. Anthony Robinson clears. Steve Crossman will be with us after this game to round everything up for you. Monday Night Club on the way tonight with Mark Chapman and the team as well. Football Daily podcast, if you're not a subscriber, highly recommend it. There for you every day on the BBC Sounds app. All the reaction, debate, analysis, particularly after a day like today, will be a great listen. If you're a Formula One fan as well, the Checkered Flag podcast, worth a listen after the Miami Grand Prix last night. So Fulham 5, Leicester 3. You can see my young lad Rory's trying to get hold of me. He's probably seen the scoreline and thinks, blimey, Dad, what on earth is going on at Craven Cottage today?
He didn't think there'd be 6 minutes of injury time, did he?
Didn't, no, exactly. He slightly mistimed the call. Here's Dewsbury Hall. Nice pass to Madison. Madison trying to make space on the edge of the box. Joao Palhinha gets the ball, points at the ball. Madison complains again. Leicester recycle it. Luke Thomas plays back to Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall 30 yards from goal to Ndidi. It'd be really interesting if Leicester do score in the next couple of minutes. We've played 2 minutes of the 6 added time.
Can you imagine if Jamie Vardy had scored that penalty?
Oh, exactly, yeah. The missed penalty, of course. Soyuncu drives the diagonal ball. That's going to be too much for Tete to catch. And it will go out for a throw into Fulham in their left-back position. Another goal in the Championship, this one at Swansea, Sheridan Robbins.
In the 3rd minute of added time, it's Swansea 3, West Brom 2. If it wasn't over before, it is over now. A wonderful free kick from Joel Pyro, his 19th goal of the season. He placed it perfectly into the bottom corner. Swansea 3, West Brom 2.
Looks like West Brom are going to miss out. Blackburn are going to miss out, even though they're winning at the New Den. Aaron Paul is there. Millwall are going to miss out as well.
Something here. It's Millwall 3, Blackburn 4. As mentioned countless times here this afternoon, Millwall were 3-1 up and 5th at half-time. They're now going to miss out on the playoffs. It's Millwall 3, Blackburn 4 in the Dyne Embers.
Fulham 5, Leicester 3. Free kick won by Joao Palhinha in the centre circle, and Fulham finally have calmed themselves down. They're going to see this one over the line, and they're going to leave Leicester in real trouble. Leicester have Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, West Ham at home on the final day of the season.
We said it before, I can't see them getting 1 point in the next 2 games. This will go down to the final date, and they won't be the only side. And again, there'll be 2 teams that will have deserved to have gone down, but somehow would have found themselves staying up.
Free kick floated forward. Great leap from Cabano to win the header, but only nods it into the arms of Daniel Everson. Everson still believes, drives it forward on the volley. Duffy's got to try and head it away. Maddison looks to get to the loose ball. Duffy there just in time. Right-footed curling pass out to Solomon on the left-hand side. Castagna tried to nip in and win it. Here is Solomon wide on the left. Full time at the New Den. Aaron.
Millwall 3, Blackburn 4. I'll round this up a little bit later, but what a performance from Blackburn in the second half. 3-1 down at half-time. They gave themselves the fighting chance of potentially getting in the playoffs with 2 goals from Ben Brereton Diaz on what could be his last appearance of the club, giving them a big 3 points. Their first win since the 15th of March. Everyone will look at Millwall's implosion, though the players are all down on their haunches. Millwall 3, Blackburn 4.
Great news for Sunderland today, though. Maz Faruqi watching them at Deepdale.
Yeah, 3 sides of this ground filtering out and empty. Not the away end to my left. They're all on their feet. The red and white shirts out in force. The singing, the dancing, the red flares. They know they are in the playoffs now. Sunderland still leading here as well at Preston by 3-0.
Couple of minutes remaining in added time here at Craven Cottage. Fulham 5, Leicester 3. I mentioned in the first half rather naughtily that I'd spotted Ian Carter on the television pictures, our golf correspondent. I've received a text here, Scott. It says, I hear you're intruding on personal grief. Poor old Ian.
Exclamation mark as well.
How dare you. I'm surprised there's only one, and I'm surprised there's not some language in there as well. Ian keeping it courteous. Tough time for the Leicester fans today. Real worries for them for the rest of this season. Still trying. Maddison chasing another ball on the edge of the box, and again has been told to get to his feet. That is 5 or 6 times in this half he's gone down and not been given the free kicks.
Not a foul, and just credit again to Leicester fans. We're still here in the 94th minute, and they're all here.
What a season for Burnley. Full-time whistles blown at Turf Moor. Betty Glover.
It's finished. Burnley 3, Cardiff 0. Burnley have won their last match in the Championship, playing with the same style and flair we've seen from them all season. Relentless football. Josh Brownhill opened the scoring before Ashley Barnes made it 2, getting his farewell goal in the bag. Scott Twine added the third from a brilliant free kick that looped over the wall. Cardiff didn't do much to threaten. It means Burnley finished on 101 points, the first team to do so in the Championship since Leicester in 2014, and now they can finally lift that trophy.
Coventry fans are waiting to celebrate as well. They are 1-1 at Middlesbrough. Even if they conceded the way things have gone, they are going to be in the playoffs at the end of this season, looking like Luton, Sunderland and Middlesbrough, Coventry. We're waiting for the full-time whistle here. Fulham 5, Leicester 3. Fulham were 4-0 up. There we go. Leicester got it back to 4-1. Jamie Vardy had a chance to make it 4-2, had the penalty saved. Fulham went down the other end and made it 5-2. Harvey Barnes got a late one back to make it 5-2.